The first Red Ranger power was the Tyrannosaurus power, and this power was only acquired by 2 Rangers. The first Ranger to acquire it was Jason, the first Red Ranger and the first Ranger in the entire franchise. The second Ranger to acquire this power was Rocky, and although many have criticized this Ranger, he really is a legendary Ranger who has some accomplishments that almost no one else has. We are going to know the complete history of these 2 spectacular Rangers, and we will be able to notice that Jason was one of the best Rangers, but at the same time we will see that Rocky was also one of the best. Most kids, even adults, almost always, their favorite Ranger is the Red Ranger. Not just any Red Ranger, but Jason, the Red Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. In several rides, this Ranger has always come out as the #1 in the entire history of the franchise, although we must say that Tommy can also win these polls. Jason is the leader of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and is the Ranger who has defeated the most villains by himself. He is also the only one who defeated Tommy Oliver in a fight. Before becoming a Ranger, he was dedicated to martial arts in Angel Grove until Zordon selected him along with his 4 closest friends to be a Power Ranger, but not just any Ranger, the leader of the group and the most powerful. Why did Zordon choose him as the leader? When Zordon and Alpha 5 make the call to the 5 teenagers and tell them about the power, Jason is the only one who initially believes it, and that is why Zordon gives him the power coin of the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Dinosaur. After obtaining this power, they begin their battles with Rita, who had sent Golder to destroy the Earth until the Power Rangers, led by Jason, defeated the monster. Although, at first glance, Jason seems like a typical athlete who is only interested in sports, inside, he is a kind person who likes to help others, and that is why he protects Billy and also teaches him martial arts so he can defend himself and builds his confidence. In addition to his martial arts skills, Jason does weightlifting and is certified as a scuba diving instructor. After many battles against Rita, one day a new student arrives to the school, Tommy Oliver, who began to be the only one who could be a competition for Jason in martial arts. This is why Rita bewitches him and turns him into the Green Ranger to defeat the Power Rangers. Rita captures Jason and locks him in the Dark Dimension after stealing his morpher, plus he had to fight Golder to get it back. Rita then sends the Green Ranger to destroy Jason, but Alpha 5, Trini and Billy manage to get Jason back before Tommy could harm him. Later, Jason confronts Tommy on Earth and finally defeats him in combat when he throws his energized power sword at the Green Ranger, disarms him, and then uses his blaster to destroy the Sword of Darkness that Rita had given Tommy. That was the sword that kept Rita's spell on Tommy. Now without the sword, Jason then invites Tommy to join the Power Rangers and use his powers against Rita. Later, Rita makes a green candle with special wax that had been enchanted with Tommy's touch when he was evil. Once lit, the candle continues to burn until it goes out, and when it goes out, so do Tommy's powers. When Tommy is near the candle, it accelerates the melting process. Golder captures Tommy and places him near it. However, he eventually escapes and Jason stays behind to retrieve the candle. Jason does well in his fight with Golder, but is called into battle with Rita's monster Cyclops to save Angel Grove. After the failed destruction of the green candle, Tommy entrusts Jason with his power coin to prevent it from falling back into Rita's hands, giving him access to the Green Ranger's powers. This includes the Dagon Shield and the Dagon Dagger, which also allows him to summon the Dagonzord to aid the Rangers, even while Jason controls the Megazord, making it twice as powerful. One day, Golder kidnaps all the parents of the students at Angel Grove School and tells Jason that if he wants to get the parents back, he must hand over all the power coins. So, Jason very cleverly delivers the 5 power coins, but he never gave him the Dragonzord coin. Thanks to this, Tommy recovers his power and then recovers the power coins of the other Rangers to also help the team to recover the parents of Angel Grove. This shows the great leadership that Jason has. When Lord Zed arrives to the moon and banishes Rita, as we talked about in the video of the whole history of Lord Zed, he creates some putties with his brand that are stronger and more powerful and sends them to the Earth to destroy the Rangers. In addition to this, Lord Zed destroys the Zords, including Jason's Dinozord. Even so, then new Zords called the Thunderzords appear, in which was Jason's new Zord, the Red Dragon Thunderzord, which transformed into a humanoid form and could fight any villain on its own separate from the fusion of the Megazord. Unfortunately, Tommy loses his Green Ranger powers again and Jason feels guilty about it. Lord Zed takes advantage of this and creates some candles for the other Rangers to also steal their power, but Jason with the help of Zordon manages to save his friends. After these events, Zordon gives Tommy the power of the White Ranger and names him the new leader of the group. Jason accepts this and becomes the second in command, but Tommy was very confident in Jason's experience as a leader and was always looking out for him. Sometime later, Jason, Trini and Zack must go to a peace conference in another country, and because of this they had to leave the team. Because of this, Zordon chooses his successors, choosing Rocky as the new Red Ranger. It is believed that because Rocky had big shoes to fill as Jason was the favorite Ranger of all time, Rocky became the least liked Ranger of the entire saga, even after appearing in the Best Power Rangers movie in 1995. In Power Ranger Zeo, there is the Gold Ranger, which was represented by a being who was prince of the planet Trifonia called Trey. He had been injured and needed someone to replace him as the Gold Ranger. Then, this power was given to Jason, who returned to be the second in command of the team. On one occasion when Tommy was kidnapped, Jason had to be the leader. In addition to this, it is seen throughout the series that Tommy relied heavily on Jason's advice for leadership decisions. At the end of Zeo, Jason returns the Gold Ranger powers to Trey, their original bearer, due to the fact that the powers of this Ranger were not meant for humans. Jason was already feeling the weight and weariness of these powers. Despite this, Jason suffered no injury and was able to transfer the powers safely and then went on his way. Jason also appeared in the Power Rangers Turbo movie alongside Kimberly, and they helped the Power Rangers fight against Divatox, the main villain of the Turbo Rangers. He also had another appearance in Power Rangers Wild Force when they made the special Forever Red, in which he appeared with his original Mighty Morphin power, along with other Red Rangers. In Power Rangers Super Megaforce, Jason appeared in the legendary battle, although he was always transformed since the actor could not be in that episode. In 2020, the actor who plays Jason made his final appearance, but this was not the character's last appearance. In Power Rangers Beast Morphers, Jason returns to fight against his old enemy Golder, who was now called Golder Maximus. Jason calls his old team to help him fight Golder, and all the Power Rangers unite to destroy him. The last appearance of the character was in the special episode celebrating the 30th anniversary of the franchise, and in this episode Jason appears for a very short time as he was quickly transformed into a doll to extract his energy. In the comics, Jason has been an important character since these stories are based on the story of the TV series and have created an alternate history. In Jason's case, after leaving the Mighty Morphin team to go to the peace conference, he was selected by the Blue Emissary to give him the power of the Red Omega Ranger. In a different dimension, Jason had been selected to be the White Ranger since Tommy had stayed with Rita as a villain. Tommy did not allow Jason to get the power of the White Ranger and took Jason's life so he could keep that power for himself. Rocky DeSantos is possibly the most underrated ranger in the entire franchise, and this is due to his start as a Power Ranger, but when you listen to his story you will understand that he is a legendary ranger. Rocky has appeared in 126 episodes, 2 anniversary episodes, 2 movies and more than 5 video games. In addition to this, he has also appeared in many comic books, but we'll talk about that part later. Rocky comes from a city called Stone Canyon, which is next to Angel Grove, and both cities always compete in sporting events. It was in this same way that Rocky met the Rangers, since he was participating in a martial arts competition, and Lord Zed noticed him because of his great talent in defeating the other competitors. Then Rocky was kidnapped and taken to the Dimension of Despair, but this was the reason he was able to learn the identities of the Rangers. Tommy and Kimberly had to remove Billy's helmet, and this is how Rocky discovered the Rangers' identities. Because Tommy and Kimberly saw that Rocky posed no threat, they also took off their helmets, and after this they had to take Rocky to the command center so that he would swear Zordon to secrecy. This all happened with Adam and Aisha as well, since the 3 of them were together in these situations, and then they all moved to Angel Grove permanently. Because Jason, Trini and Zach were selected to attend a peace conference in Switzerland, Rocky was chosen to replace Jason and get the power of the Tyrannosaurus. In real life we know that this event was due to contract problems with the actors, as they wanted better pay and the producers looked for 3 new actors to replace them. Although Rocky received the Tyrannosaurus power coin, the reality is that he never used that Zord, as Lord Zed had destroyed it and Zordon transformed it into the Red Dragon Thunderzord. Rocky appeared in about 30 episodes of the 2nd season, battling with the team in order to defeat Lord Zed and Rita, and although the internet data says that he was the 2nd in command of the team, this was never noticed. In that 2nd season there was an episode with Rocky's name, episode number 32. In this episode there is a new arcade game at the Angel Grove Youth Center, and Rocky becomes passionate about this game. Lord Zed casts a spell on Rocky so that Rocky only thinks about the game and his fun lasts forever. This spell causes Rocky to become obsessed with the game and begin to ignore his friends. Later, the putties attack the Rangers and Zordon starts calling Rocky to help them, but Rocky doesn't want to go because it's no fun. Lord Zed takes advantage of the situation and creates a monster using the new arcade machine. All the Rangers start fighting against the monster, but Rocky doesn't help them much. The monster transforms the Rangers into pieces that are part of the game, but Tommy manages to save himself from that situation and takes the Rangers to the command center so that Alpha can transform them back into humans. When Alpha manages to transform Rocky, Lord Zed's spell is broken in the process, and now Rocky blames himself for this situation. Because of this, he teleports to fight the monster, which is now giant, and uses the Red Dragon Thunderzord in warrior mode. Rocky manages to stop the monster long enough for Alpha to transform the other Rangers back into humans, and then all together they form the Thunder Megazord to destroy the monster. Later, Rocky apologizes to his friends and now understands that there is time to work and time to play. After this episode many more episodes passed, and then we reached the 3rd season. In this season Rocky becomes a Ninja Ranger, but we also saw this in the 1995 movie. Although Rocky had already appeared in more than 30 episodes of the series before the release of the movie, the reality is that many fans did not know him because at that time it was not as easy to see all the episodes of a series as it is nowadays. However, the movies were easier to watch since you could go to the movies and they received more publicity. It is for this reason that perhaps many thought that Rocky was replacing Jason for the first time in the movie, but actually this process had already happened a long time ago. Although Rocky had an excellent participation in this movie, the reality is that he was one of the Rangers with less special moments. In this story, which is very different from the story that occurs in the series since this movie is not part of the canon, Rocky receives the ninjetti power in a different way. Dulcia, a very powerful warrior who protects the new power found on another planet, decides to give the Rangers the ninjetti power so they can find the new power to save Zordon. The ninjetti power comes from the spirit of the animals and Rocky receives the power from the ape. In the TV series, the Rangers received the ninjetti power thanks to Ninja and Rocky received the same animal. After this third season, the Rangers managed to get the power of the Zeo crystal and this was the beginning of a new series, but it was also the beginning for a new color for Rocky. In this new series, Rocky began to use the color blue and now the Rangers must face new enemies. In this season, the Machine Empire are the new enemies of the Rangers and now with the Triangle Crystal, Rocky must face them. When Jason arrived back to the team using the Gold Ranger powers, Rocky began to feel left out as he thought Jason was coming to replace him, but later realized this was not true. In the Turbo movie, which was the start of a new series, Rocky was injured and was never able to become a Turbo Ranger. This was Rocky's farewell, although it was not the last time we would see him fight as a Ranger again. After a long time, Rocky appeared in the legendary battle, although here we only saw him transformed. Later, in the Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel series, the franchise celebrated the 25th anniversary with a special episode in which we got to see Rocky again. In this episode, Rocky once again obtained the power of the Tyrannosaurus in an unknown way as his power coin was broken. 5 years later, we see Rocky again in the special episode celebrating 30 years of the franchise and this time he must replace Jason as Rita had turned him into an action figure. In this episode we could see that Rocky had become a firefighter and Alpha 9 teleported him to the command center as an emergency backup. On this occasion, Rocky used a substitute power coin that Alpha 9 had and became for the third time the Red Ranger again. We must say that Rocky had an excellent participation in this special episode and was given many special moments. This was the last time we saw Rocky on TV, but in the comics he also had a lot of participation. Since Jason left for the supposed peace conference, which is a different story in the comics, Rocky started to substitute for Jason, but in these stories everything took a different turn. In the comics we got to know more about Rocky's personal life, and he also had many interesting moments as a Red Ranger. One of my favorite moments is when Rocky had to use the Green Ranger powers and just like Jason, he also got the shield and the dagger. Rocky was unable to attend the special episode of Forever Red and although no explanation was ever given for the absence of this character, in real life the actor was unable to attend the filming because he was moving house. The writer of that episode said that if Rocky had appeared he was going to be Tommy's butler and was not going to participate in the battle as a Red Ranger, unless Jason had not appeared. Only 6 Rangers have appeared in over 100 episodes and Rocky is one of them. If you are a Rocky fan, like this video and subscribe for more Power Rangers origin stories.